guys just woke up. So I will give 12 pattern in nature. So I will give each one example of 12 patterns. So let's go. So I'm back. So the first pattern that I will give an example is the fracture. So let's go. So this is the example of fracture. So that is the example of fracture. So the second one, the second pattern is cracks. So let's see what's the example of cracks. So let's go. So that is the example of cracks. That's our wall. So the third pattern is bubbles. So let's see what is the example of bubbles. Let's go. So this is the example of bubbles. So this is the example of bubbles. This is our sink. The base of what I have searched, so foam and bubbles have a bit similar. So the example of bubbles maybe have it's the same of my bubbles. So the fifth pattern is spiral. So let's find the example of spiral. So maybe this is the example of spiral. This is a calendar, roll calendar. Maybe this, I will give this an example as a spiral. So the sixth example of pattern in nature is symmetry. So let's find another example for that. Let's go. So this is the example of my symmetry. So reflection this is a mirror. So the seventh pattern is minders. So we'll find another example for that. So let's go. So I don't think I can give the example of minders because I can't find it in our house, even in the outside of our house. I can find it, so I will give an example from Google. So this is the example. Sorry, I can't give it. So the eighth pattern is the waves. So we will find that here in our house if we have that, or outside in our house. So maybe I will give this as an example of waves. because we don't have any waves here. So this is an example of waves. So the ninth pattern that I will give an example is stripes. So I have an example, but this is our bed sheet. Sorry, this is the only example that I have. So this is the example that I will give, stripes. So the 10th example or pattern that I will give an example is spot. So where we can find that? So let's find it. Let's go. So the example of that is our pillowcase. Maybe this is the spot. I don't know if this is the spot, but this is the example that I will give. I'm not sure of this. The fractals that I will give an example is the last example, or the last pattern that I will give an example is also the print of our bedsheet. So this is it. So this is the example of tessellation. Maybe this is it. So that's all. So thank you guys for watching this vlog. So